So what we're doing today is we're going to put Hydroboost on this. I've got a Hydroboost off of that Suburban that we got the 6-liter out of that the tree fell on. And I got a new steering column too, so we're going to put a new steering column in there because the steering column that's in there, I just never, it was out of a junkyard truck and I never finished installing it, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. This steering wheel's pretty nasty, but I got it for like $1 at an estate sale. And it actually works. I bought the, install kit. That's whatever. But I don't know if we'll reuse that steering column or that steering wheel or not, or use the factory steering wheel. I still had the original one, but it's pretty big. So anyway, let's get to pulling the fender off and all that crap, because that's going to make it a lot easier to do the steering column, steering shaft, and everything in between. This should be fun. Okay, all right. Just keep on trying. Alright, get this battery off, y'all. Since it's built into the fender well, I kind of wish I'd have put it a little lower, but kind of start getting into the tire area, so whatever. It is the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. I think I can leave the grill and the core support on. The fender is kind of a little bit easier to get off whenever there's not a, core support in the way. It's been a while since I've taken this front clip off of this truck. So plug the horn down there. And then we go back to a half. Guess I should take this off of my workbench. There we go. It's a real nice wiring harness and wiring job abound. All of it's real nice. Hot garbage over here. Alright, I'm gonna get this off and then we'll come back once I get the fender off. There's just some bolts hiding and stuff that you can't even get the camera in there. Get this the brake lines loose on this master here. Use the old glove finger trick there. Keeps most of it from dripping all over the place. Crash, brake fluid eats out paint. We're also going to do a rear wheel anti-lock delete on that. We're going to gut that thing because it doesn't work. I think it causing me more problems than anything. There we go. Keep that crap out of the way. I did buy some more brake line in case I needed to add to it if I didn't have enough on there. So, if we got to do that, we'll do that. Now, this is just kind of a hobcobble mess because, if you're doing this on a first gen, it may not be completely applicable just because of where the pedal placement is on this is a little different, but at least we'll see if the hydraulic system works for it. Booster's still good. Oh, we're not using it, so it doesn't matter, I guess. Got that part done. Now I guess we get to get under the dash and unbolt this from the pedal. Yeah, we just gotta get that bolt there that goes to the brake pedal. Get that off so we can get the shaft loose from there. And actually, I don't know what happened there, but it wasn't all the way up there, so that's good. Alright, that must have been backing off. Very nice. That's good, that's what you want. Keep your bolt because you need it to go inside of the shaft of the push rod. Alright, then we got some 9/16. Let's see if I can cram this in here. No, I think I'm gonna need a bunch of extensions to do that. Maybe a wobble. Oh, come on, I want my socket. Tight squeeze over on this side. Oh yeah, I forgot my oil pressure gauge leaks. If there's something, I'd catch a little glimpse of oil dripping out every now and then. That's good. That's what you want. Alright, this should just plop out, right? Alright. I mean, I got all the bolts out. Golly. Jeez. Guess I need to quit being a wuss. Okay, there it goes. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, so I didn't record me mounting the Hydroboost onto the firewall because it's not going to be relevant for like first gen guys, first gen Cummins people. It's going to be, you know, different for them for the most part. It might be pretty similar, but a lot of guys, I think they just take the bracket off and flip it over. But I just bored the firewall out a little bit and cut that stud off and added a bolt there. The thing's pretty sturdy. It's there. So yeah, the thing that's going to be relevant for you guys is going to be the lines going to it. So we'll get into that nonsense here in a minute. I guess I'll take this intercooler piping off, get that out of the way. That way whenever I put it back on, it'll leak, so that'll be good. Anyway, that was a beating, and I need to get a collar to go to the firewall for the steering column, so that'll be buttoned up tomorrow. That should be in tomorrow. So I had this slip joint, or whatever you want to call it, slip shaft, I guess, collapsible column shaft, steering column shaft for a first gen. I just cut the part off that would be a rag joint. I cut that off of there and then cut this, and then I already had these U-joints. So anyway, I needed the collapsible steering shaft because I don't want to get impaled if I get into an accident. All right, I'm gonna get this crap off and then we'll look at the lines and everything. All right, hose this shit down with some brake clean. So we'll let it drip all the freaking, I don't know, power steering fluid or ATF, whatever the hell I got in there. I don't even remember. We'll be able to tell whenever it comes out red instead of clear. Golly. That O-ring's holding on, isn't it? Looks like that was due to be replaced anyway. Return hose we'll be reusing. We'll just clean it up. Or if I've got one that's nicer, we may be using that instead, because this is pretty crusty. Pretty crusty old truck. We got some new return hose, so we're gonna just ixnay that crap. Good, nice. What is this crap? Got a damn steel sleeve on the end of it? Goodness. Junk, get that junk out of here. We're gonna let this drain for a little bit and we'll be right back. Did someone silicone that old hose on there or something? Good night. I tell you what, that's one thing I just probably never disconnected was that power steering line. Or the other one for that matter. The engine has never left the frame as long as I've owned it. Alright, so this is the line that goes from the power steering pump to your Hydroboost. It's threading in there, so that's good. I may have to put a little, kind of pull it out a little bit right here, put a little bend in it there. But if you look here, it goes up to your power, or your Hydroboost. Ignore all my junky ass wires everywhere. So that'll go up there. Let's grab the other hose and see what it does. Small side's gonna go to the Hydroboost unit, which maybe you won't have as much garbage in your way, I don't know. For me, it's gonna work. You know, I can't guarantee it'll work on your first gen, but the lines will connect. Well, I say for me, it's gonna work. I'm gonna make it work. We'll put it that way. I think we'll have to get real creative with it. It's okay. So, you know, maybe, oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Shit. Maybe don't use the Suburban line coming from there. The one coming from the pump to there, well, I'll verify the part numbers in a minute. All right, we're taking that back off and get it out of the way so we can get this started. Then we can kind of pry up and all that fun stuff. There we go. Yeah, you can just kind of, you know, gently pull up on it and get it in place. But it looks like it will work for me. I can't guarantee it'll work for you, but it'll work for this truck. If I bend this, then I can turn that in more too. Promise you I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want that bind there, but we want to keep it away from the wheel too. Yeah, you don't want it kinking right there, which it should be good. Obviously. have all this bullshit in the way, it'd probably do better. So that will be a crisscross applesauce or whatever, but it should work. So what we want, which is power steering going there and then coming here. Now, that one kind of, well, I guess that one's fine where it is, as long as I can tighten it, which I should be able to. That's about the angle that the factory one was. Let's work on the return. So we're gonna have to put a T in the return. You could put a 2nd gen power steering pump on there. I'm not doing all that shit. Fucking too much crap I don't want to deal with. We're just gonna put a T in the return. So basically we want to run it to where the one coming from the Hydroboost is priority, and then the one coming from the power steering pump will be the one in the T. You know, it'll be like that, and then you'll have one like that. So I'll build it and then we'll be right back. All right, so we got our return hose, which I bought 25 foot of 3/8 power steering return hose because this shit's not cheap whenever you just buy like a couple foot, and I didn't know how much I needed because I'm thinking about adding a power steering cooler on here. I've got these clamps here. These are like PEX style ones, you know, like you have a tool you crimp them down with or whatever. I'm gonna slip those bad daddies down on there. But until I know this works, I'm just going to use these little cheesy guys I got. Little crappy old wannabe stainless hose clamps. If we can get that on there with the PEX ring on it. Well, maybe you just use some cheesy hose clamps for now. Until I can buy some better ones. Okay, well, good intention. Yeah, they're cheesy hose clamps, but they'll work because this is what General Motors used to clamp them. So I think we'll be okay with ours. I guess I could take that off and reuse it. We'll use little cheesy jobbers. And those we can replace easily. Yeah, that's mighty fine. We're gonna come off of that, go down. We'll just follow these high pressure lines. And we'll come down to here. I guess I should make a little piece to go to that, You kind of want right like that. You want this to kind of have priority, basically. You want your Hydroboost to have priority. It requires the return to be definitely better for it, I guess you'd say. They're just 3/8 barbs to 1/4 MPT. A small piece to go from there to there. Let's just say, I don't know, 8 inches. Get a little hose clampy. I don't need 2 hose clamps. I need one to go down there. One to be up here. I really should have used like a 45 or something on this. Would have been great. Yeah, I think I made that too long going down to that power steering pump. Let me get a zip tie real quick and we'll kind of keep that in line with the other one. 90 or 45 or something would have been real good there, but we don't have one, so we're working with what we got. Cut that off about right there. There you go. Alright. Now we gotta figure out our return going to the pump. I mean to the gearbox. That one that I took off there is pretty shitty, so let me see if I got another one that is a O-ring fitting, and we'll be right back. Guess we're using old crusty trusty, because I do not have another one. Get this piece of shit out of here. Just have to make us a little loopy doop. Should be just fine. It's fine. I guess I need to put the O-rings on these sheet. We'll make that little loop and then I'll put O-rings on these fittings here. I didn't put them on yet because I was kind of dry fitting. So make us a little power steering return loop. That should be out of the way of other stuff. Right there at the old CT. Old Edelman makes this. They make a lot of power steering parts. That's who distributes this, at least. Made in USA. Before I hook that up, I'll go ahead and put the O-rings on these other fittings. Go ahead and wipe any grime off of them, I guess, too. These are old Samsung hoses. Made in Thailand. I don't know if that's good or bad. Here we are. Got enough grease and oil on my fingers. They work pretty good for getting those ready to go in. I hope this Hydroboost doesn't leak. It was hard to tell on that damn Suburban because it seemed like everything else was leaking. So I guess if it does, at least it'll just be swapping out the unit. So there's that. At least we'll know what fits and doesn't fit, and if it works or doesn't work. It'll work even if it's leaking. Already put a new O-ring on that, so we should be good there. Now I can put that return line onto that barb there. Okay, return lines are all hooked up. God, I wish these were 12 point. I do have a 12.58. Stupid freaking oil pressure light sensor. Should have put a plug in that forever ago. I guess I need to buy an 1/8" plug. 1/8 NPT plug. Get rid of that piece of crap before it breaks off and leaks everywhere. Okay, got that tight. It's not touching anything, so we're good there. Yep. There's a leaf on the pump. Then we get to figure out the brake lines, which I think I've already figured that out, so that shouldn't be too much of a task. So that's a plus. Now we can put all our hose, I'll tighten all these hose clamps up. You don't need to watch me do that. Just trust that I've done it, and we'll leave it at that. Anyway, yeah, I'll get those all tightened up, then we'll come back and start working on the brake lines. Yeah, we'll get these hooked up to that. See where we're gonna go from there. All right, so on your first gen, this hose, or this line, this fitting, it's the same size as what's on the master cylinder for the GM truck. The rear one will be different, but the front one fits. It's real tight, so I'm gonna have to not make another line, but just showing you that the front one fits. The rear one is too big. Luckily that line's got enough room. I can, you know, cut that off and flare another piece on there. So there's that. So I am going to make another line for the front one, and we'll hook that up, and I'll show you. I'll flare this one and show you that one, I guess, or I can show you the other one too. But let me get some brake line crap, and we'll get that going. All right, so get this crap out of the way. Here's the new brake line. I just buy it by the roll. It's like a 20-foot roll. It's a lot of brake line. 25 foot. I don't know. Anyway, you kind of just want to judge by what you got going on there and give yourself extra. And since I have this extra, I was real low on brake line when I made it for that truck, I can tell you that. But since we have extra, we'll go ahead and make our little pigtail, little wiggly tail. It gives you some room to kind of, for the truck to, the engine to shift and all that stuff, or whatever, body to shift on the chassis, yada yada yada. I don't know, it's just, it's good to have that. So get something round and wrap it around a piece of pipe or whatever is fine. And we know we need a little bit extra, so you don't need to make multiple curly cues, little pigtails like the manufacturer does. But this should give us plenty of line here. A little big for this size, this diameter tubing, but it's fine. This stuff's relatively soft, so you don't have to apply a ton of pressure. Kind of compare to what we got here, should give us a little more room. That's all we needed, just a little bit more. All right, so I got that fitting off. Before you make your flare, you want to put your fitting back on. This is a it's Titan tools or something like that. You can use it on the vehicle, it screws into it, or you can use it in a vise. And since we're not using it, we're not working on the truck, we'll use it in the vise. This is basically a depth gauge for you. It stops the line where it needs to go. All right, it goes that far in. All right, you tighten these guys down. They're 10 millimeters. And you kind of pinch the line in place. You take this out. I think it's a 19. No, it's not a 19. to 17. Sorry about that. 17 millimeter for that. You have this piece here, OP1. That's gonna be the first thing you do, right? It comes with this little lube, little dye lube. I just dip that in there. You don't need a lot, just a little bit on there. Okay. Also a 17. And you can see down in that little hole, it pushes up against the brake line. And this is just the first, like a regular flare, right? By doing this other process, it is the inverted flare. Grease on it. Let's see what our flare looks like. If we've done correctly, it should look like that. Well, no. It's got this ridge on it. We messed up. I've done this a bajillion times. You'd think I'd be alright at it. Maybe I didn't ream it. Maybe that's why I didn't use a reamer on it. We'll try again. See how it goes this time. Let's look at it now. Probably still not great. Oh, that's much better. That little bit there, that'll be not a problem whenever you go to tighten it down on to your whatever you're connecting it to. We're going to be connecting this to the proportioning valve. This will be connected to the proportioning valve, and as soon as you tighten it down on there, it will push that bevel down in there and you'll be good as gold. Let's see about doing this next one. Let's put the fitting on first. Then let's see about doing this next one. Let's see if we dicked this one up. It might work. What we can do is go stab it in the master cylinder real quick and kind of see if it pinches down. Stab it in there, take it back out, see what it looks like. So let's go do that. See what it looks like after it's been tightened down in the part that it's supposed to be in. It's close enough for rock and roll. That should be okay. I'll clean those little cruds out of there, but it should be just fine. Anyway, that is a brake flaring tool. So, alright, so this is your rear wheel anti-lock brake module. RWAL is what it's referred to commonly. So it, comes from the front. This is coming from your master cylinder or your proportionate valve. It goes through here and then goes out to the rubber line. Let's see here. Oh, get that whole fitting thing is moving. Wonder what size that guy is. That's bigger than a 9/16. Probably a 16. It is a 16. Oh, it's actually a 5/8, I think. Whatever. Got tired. Alright, we need to change this fitting out here. So we'll cut this old one off. I found my little tubing cutter. It's really nice to flare this stuff whenever it's dripping brake fluid. I like doing that. Alrighty. Turn it up so it's a little higher, but we got this union thingamajig here. It's slippery as shit now. Make sure it fits on this side. Yep, it does. Alright. Get our little buddy here. Everything's nice and slippery, so that's good. Yeah, we're in. Not the most ideal way to do this. It's better to do this when it is not on the vehicle, but this is the way we got to do it. At least it's got this nifty handle so we can do that. Actually got this tool at O'Reilly's one day because I needed one pretty quick. It wasn't much more expensive to buy it at O'Reilly's than to order it online and wait a couple days. So you can get them at O'Reilly's for about 10 bucks more than Amazon. Clean all this grease off of here. Decent enough flare. Considering where we're having to do it at, it's not too bad. Letting me Sam hail. Must be that little bend in it. It's not letting it go up. Come on. You kidding me? There. Good grief. I'm not a big fan of using these unions and shit and brake lines, but I can always redo this whenever I get it up on the lift. Good grief. This is such a pain in the ass. Everything's wet with brake fluid, so it's hard to twist it. Looks like it's threading on there straight, but hard to tell. Okay. Now I need to reattach that rubber line, and we'll be done back here for now. We will I'm gonna wrap that up, and then we'll put some brake fluid in it and I guess start bleeding brakes. And we got to put power steering fluid in, but can't really do anything with that yet until I get the little bushing or whatever to go in between for the steering column to mount to the firewall. Anyway, we'll be back. All right, back at this crap. I've been trying to knock out the steering column crap. It doesn't look great, but it's in there. It should function. We'll get to the brake crap here in a little bit, but I was going to show you just a little, you know, when you're building something and you know you're going to end up going back and doing it again, take notes. I actually took some notes on my wiring for because the steering column that was in here was from like an 80 something Dodge. So I took, you know, I had to go from the factory, or from the 90 something to the 80 something. This is a real confusing, jarbled mess. But the pigtail on this is obviously GM color coding. But here's the part that comes from the factory one, or whatever. I don't even remember now. It's been so long. This needs a new wiring harness, but in the meantime, we're just going to use that, and we're going to hook these wires to this here. Just, yeah. I'm going to wire that all up. I'll just, you know, just take notes, you know. Write stuff down. I actually had this graph paper I wrote all this crap down on a few years back when I built this truck, so glad I had that. That's it. Just my trick of the day. Take notes. I got this wrapped up yesterday afternoon. I didn't film any of it because I was basically just showing you, you know, how to do your lines. Here's the T I put in there for the return for the Hydroboost and your gearbox. Y'all saw that, and the lines that I used were just the factory ones from the 2001 Suburban. But you should be able to use them from, you know, whatever you're taking your lines off of. If it's got the correct metric ends on it, you may just have to do a little fudging with the lines. But I got the brake split yesterday and bled the power steering. That's not too much of trouble. Basically just need to jack it up, get the wheels off the ground, do it dry a few times, back and forth, turn the wheel back and forth. Not full lock to full lock, but you know. Anyway, I need to tighten that up. No, I tightened that up. I just need to put the cover on. Anyway, that's gonna wrap this part of the video up. Nothing too crazy. Just kind of a pain in the ass whenever you're working on old stuff that, you know, wasn't ready for this. Anyway, I got a mess to clean up. I gotta go help my uncle today. I'm off work, so I'm going to help him work on some old square body junk. So anyway, catch you on the next one, and hopefully we're not doing this twice, because we hopefully did it right. All right.